The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers is carrying on with the strike, and remember, these enters more than 10 days of carrying out the strike, where the clinical officers announced the withdrawal of officers from all public hospitals. And now we link up with our reporter Junaid Karisa for an update. Junaid, if you can hear me, kindly bring us to speed on an updated report.
Good afternoon. We are live from the governor's office here at the Treasury Square in Mombasa County, where this is day 58 for the clinical officers' nationwide strike. They are putting across their demands to the Council of Governors through the governor of Mombasa. This is a procession that began earlier on the day around 11 o'clock. They marched from the Coast General Hospital to here to just air out their grievances. The governor Mombasa, Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir, is not in office today. He's in Nairobi. However, the lot here was received by the Chief of Staff, Dr. Noah Kala, who listened to their demands and agreed for a meetup in the afternoon to have a sit down, perhaps just see how best they can communicate their matters to the Council of Governors. I am joined by the National Chair of the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, Peterson, just to give us an overview of their demands and why day 58 we do not have a negotiating table yet between the clinical officers and the Council of Governors or the national government. Karibu sana. Briefly, your demands, your bare minimum, and what we have done today.
Thank you, June. And as you have said, I'm Peterson Wachira. I'm the National Chair for Kenya Union of Clinical Officers. Today I have joined my counterparts from the wider coastal region, from Kilifi, Taita Taveta, Kwale, Tana River, and of course Mombasa and Lamu. And we are here today because we are demonstrating for our right, for professional respect, for professional dignity. We had 10 demands, and we have been able to address about 7 of them, both with the Ministry of Health, led by the PS Modoni, PS for Public Health and Professional Standards, and of course also from that team that has been put together by the 47 county governments, led by Excellency Mutahi Kahiga, the Governor for Nyeri, who chairs the Committee on HR, Human Resources and Labor, and the Chair for Health, who is Mudhomi Njuki. Out of the 10, our bare minimum and what is remaining, so that we can agree, are 3 main sticking issues. One of them is, of course, the enhancement of the risk allowance from 3,000 to 15,000. This is not a new negotiation that we are doing. This is something that we negotiated and we agreed in 2021. It was signed by the CS then, CS Mutahi Kagwe. And all we need for them to do is to actually now implement. And the budgetary allocation is nothing that is too big for the government to handle. We only require around 900 million, not even $1 billion per year, to enhance the risk allowance for clinical officers. That is one. And the biggest problem with the health risk allowance is CS Nakumicha. Because CS Nakumicha is the one who is supposed to bring the Council of Governors together. They go before the Treasury and they secure that budget to pay that money. And she has not sat with us for the 58 days we have been on strike.
What do you think is the reason behind that?
We don't understand, because we saw her sit with the doctors and that was finished. They were able to arrive at some amicable resolution. But for us, she has not come to the table, and we require her to come to the table, and we will not go back until we are able to resolve this. The second item is about the UHC staff. And the UHC staff, our problem is discrimination at the workplace. And we are saying they must be absorbed the same way we are seeing JSS teachers being absorbed. They were given 8 billion. We only require 3.5 billion for the UHC staff. And the last thing is about the interns. Their salary was reduced by more than 50%. There is a structure that was provided by the Public Service Commission. It must be adhered to. So we will stay on strike as long as will be needed for us to gain our professional justice, our professional respect, and our professional dignity.
Quickly, as we wind up, the budgetary cycle is ongoing. Have you had a sit down? Have you aired your demands before Parliament, before Senate? And what is your next step in terms of Nyinyote going to air your demands?
Yeah, you know, we were in Parliament. We even had a joint session where we discussed this. We also did a petition to the Budget Committee on the same. And on Tuesday next week, we are going to have more than 2,000 officers in Nairobi. We are going to demonstrate. We are going to the Ministry of Health. We will be going to Parliament to ask them to provide the necessary budget that is needed to absorb the UHC staff and also to provide for the enhancement of the risk allowance. And lastly, I want to thank the Public Service Commission led by Ambassador Moshiri because they have done clinical officers justice. We have a very progressive career guidelines, one that we have waited for 10 years. So for that one issue, we are very grateful to the Public Service Commission. Our problem now is with the Ministry of Health, the Council of Governors, and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission.
We wish you all the best. Thank you so much for making time for us. Those are clinical officers demonstrating here in Mombasa. It's the cost chapter, and they are in tandem with other clinical officers countrywide to air their demands so that they can be met and go back to work. It's day 58, and their pleas have not yet been heard, and there is no negotiating table yet initiated by the Ministry of Health, that is the CS, the Council of Governors, or any other relevant stakeholders. They are demanding for a negotiating table. So from Mombasa County, we'll bring you more details of these demonstrations in a subsequent bulletins. But for now, I hand it back to you. I'm Johnny Karisa.
Well, thank you so much, Janae, for that update stating that the strike